All right, let's dive into one of the most fascinating and kinda tricky strategies from Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. Today, we're going to break down a law that really gets into some deep human psychology, Law 16.
And it all starts with this simple, almost economic idea. This one sentence, it really captures the entire puzzle we're exploring today. The notion that your constant presence, the fact that you're always around, can actually make you seem less valuable over time.
So this leads us to what we can call the paradox of presence. And it's a weird one, right? Because everything in us usually screams, be seen, be available, make an impact. But this law flips that completely on its head. It argues that the more people see and hear from you, well, the more ordinary you start to seem. And when you seem ordinary, the respect you command just fades.
I mean, just think about it in your own life. It could be anything, a rare collectible, a limited edition sneaker, or even just someone's time and attention. The less there is of something we want, the more we crave it. It's basic supply and demand, and believe it or not, it applies directly to you in any social circle or workplace.
Okay, so how on earth do you actually use this paradox to your advantage? Well, for that, let's look at an incredible story from ancient history, a true masterclass in the power of absence. This is the story of Dioces, a guy who used this law to literally go from being a regular villager to a king with absolute power. So, the story goes like this. Way back in ancient Media, before it was a real kingdom, things were a total mess. Chaos, injustice, everywhere. But in this one little village, there was a man, Dioces, who got a reputation for one thing. He was incredibly fair and wise. And what's so important here is that he built his value by being present. People travel from all over just to have him solve their problems. He was that good. Always available, always reliable, he basically became the one-man Supreme Court for the whole region. And then, get this, at the absolute peak of his influence, when everybody was relying on him, he just vanished. He told everyone he was done spending his time on their drama and retreated from public life completely. The result? It was immediate. It was chaos. All the old lawlessness and fighting came rushing back, and the people had this sudden, painful wake-up call. Living without him was unbearable. His value wasn't just high, it was off the charts. So, what do? They offered him literally everything to come back. Not just his old job, but a massive upgrade. A crown, a huge palace, his own royal bodyguards, and total control. But here's the masterstroke. He added one final condition. He would be completely inaccessible. From now on, he would rule from behind a curtain of mystery, creating permanent scarcity.
I mean, that story of Dioces is just such a perfect illustration of the powerful logic behind this law. It all comes down to the value of scarcity, and it's a strategy that taps directly into how our brains are wired.
So let's nail it down. Law 16 is officially, use absence to increase respect and honor. The whole idea is to treat your presence, your talents, your very self as a limited resource. You are the product, and you control the supply.
You can really see the dynamic here. Constant presence, well, not just makes people get used to you. They take you for granted, and your perceived value drops. But strategic absence, that creates mystery, it creates demand. Our brains are hardwired to think that if something is rare, it must be valuable. When you pull back, you make people want you, and your value just skyrockets.
You know, Greene uses a fantastic metaphor for this. Just think about the sun. After a week of rain, we can't wait to see it. But after a month of scorching heat, we're complaining and hiding inside. It's the sun's absence that makes us appreciate its return. Your presence works exactly the same way. And hey, this isn't just about politics or your career. The legendary French courtesan Ninon de Lenclos put it perfectly when it comes to romance. If you smother your partner with your presence 24/7, you kill the mystery and imagination that desire needs to breathe. She knew that a little absence is what keeps the fire going.
But whoa, hold on. Before you go and ghost your boss and all your friends, you have to know this is a double-edged sword. This is probably one of the most dangerous laws to get wrong, so understanding when not to use it is absolutely critical.
Okay, this is the most important rule of all, so listen up. This law only works after you have already established your presence and proven your value. Remember Dioces? He didn't start by being absent. He started by being everywhere and showing everyone just how valuable he was.
Let me make this crystal clear. You use presence when you're new, when you're trying to build a reputation, when you need people to know who you are. You only use absence when you're already a big deal, when your value is a given. That is the only time that pulling away will actually increase your power. Because let's be honest, you get the timing wrong on this, if you withdraw before you've made your mark, you're not creating value. You're not being missed. You are simply, and maybe even permanently, forgotten.
So when you put it all together, this law isn't really about just disappearing. It's about mastering a rhythm, a dance between presence and absence. It's like a high-stakes game of hide-and-seek that you're playing with people's perception of you. So here's the playbook. First up, step 1, establish your value. Be seen, be known, become essential. Then, step 2, withdraw. And this is all about timing, knowing the right moment to make your exit. Next, step 3, create scarcity. Let them feel the void you've left behind. And finally, step 4, the grand finale, return. You reappear, not as the same person, but to a whole new level of respect and honor.
In a world where everyone is screaming for attention, this law is such a powerful way to manage your own value. It's all about knowing when to step into the spotlight and when to step back into the shadows. So the real question I'll leave you with is this. In your world, is it time to play?